Good morning. Happy last day of the last month of the third quarter. How about that? It's September 30th. Tomorrow's October 1st, right? So very exciting to see what's going on in the real world because I'm actually watching the news a little bit. Shut up. My phone just chirping because I want to see some things that are happening and, like the government shutdown and stuff. You can't just read an email that.
To populate against.
Yeah, that's right. Negative news are they spinning today?
Yeah, consume a little bit of it. Just make sure you go into it with a real direct and focused mindset of what you truly believe and what you truly want to create. Consume what everybody else is, see what they're consuming, so you know what you have to inoculate against and what you're going to be discussing, your talking points.
Yeah, I was ignorant for long enough. Now I'll be a little less ignorant, but still going good. All right. Paramount Title, you're doing a fantastic job, and you got something to announce this morning. You're doing a toast to our agents, I hear.
I didn't hear you. What was that, Craig?
I said you guys are doing a great job, and I hear you've got an announcement. You're planning something like a toast to our agents?
We are, yeah. So we are doing a top agent event. It's going to be an agent appreciation in November 7th. So if you receive the save a date, you are invited, and you should receive a invite soon to be able to confirm that if you will be there or not. So very excited for that. Tons of good things for the agents. We also will have our class next Thursday, which is going to be on real estate vesting one-on-one. So that's a very important class. Vesting in title is super, super important. It can change things from going into probate or just being able to sell when somebody passes away. I mean, little things like that.
Vesting title, not investing.
Vesting.
Vesting title. Do you take it as Craig Beggins a single man, or Craig Beggins a married person, or how else you want to do it? LLC title,
Right to survivorship, tenants in common.
All the questions you don't need to answer because you're not a
attorney,
lawyer, or a title company, but you need to be aware that there's an option for consumers. And then you pass them along to the title company, they'll handle it, but the attorney get it done right.
And the title company isn't really advising them either way either, because they're not supposed to give them that advice and tell them which way to take it. So you need to understand what they all mean and be able to direct them to the proper people, because that's what our contract says. You will not rely on my information. You're going to rely on the professionals.
But it's still important for us to know it, because awareness gives you flexibility, gives you options from out. Cool.
Yep.
Sorry.
Absolutely. That's okay. And then just a reminder that October is Cyber Awareness Month. So please be diligent on if you're receiving any fraudulent emails, they look suspicious. Don't click on any links that you guys get if it looks crazy. It is on the high when holidays are coming in, or long weekends. That's when the fraudsters come in and they try and attack at that time. So just stay diligent on cyber awareness. And if you guys have anything that looks sketchy, give us a call. We have no problem looking at it for you. But that is why we use Certified. Certified is a portal that you can securely upload your banking information as a client. You can even do it for your commission. We even have contractors that use Certified now for us to be able to pay them at closing. So we have a roof company that did Certified. We're sending them a wire after closing. Everything is easy peasy on that side. We don't have to wait for them to come into the office. But it's also where we're going to verify your identity, your client's identity, buyer side and seller side. It is required a company policy to ensure that the property is not being sold fraudulently and that your money is going to the correct place.
Okay. Are all title companies doing that?
No.
No. So is this good that we're doing it, or is it a pain in the ass that we're doing it?
Yes.
You guys are smart. It's the right thing to do. We're protecting the consumer, which is one of our jobs and one of the reasons, right? Cool.
Absolutely. If you guys have any questions on Certified, please give us a call. Any of one of us can answer your questions. And then we also have flyers that we've sent out. We can resend those out if we need to, but Certified is super important. It is required. So just please let us know if you have any questions on it.
It's funny. I'm converting a lot of reservations to contracts now, and I need to get the balance of a 10% deposit on some pretty expensive property. And I can't believe the resistance from people to go online and send it to the law firm. There's a portal, a secure portal that you log into. You put in your routing number and your account number, and the money leaves your account and goes straight to the escrow account. Nope, I don't want to do that. I'll just bring you a check. So they bring us a check. We put it in overnight. It's like a carrier pigeon, tie it to their feet. But we have the ability to do it right, but we got to make sure we're doing it right. And that's why every law firm now Every title agency, what do they have at the bottom of their email signature?
Fraud notice.
A fraud notice, right? We should probably put that in ours as well, and we can do that. Cool. Well, thank you very much, Megan. You're doing a great job. This is the end of the
You are
month,
very welcome.
and then post-closing next week. So
Well, and
for
let's
the rest of this,
real quickly while Megan's on, and I'm sure she'll love to hear this because I believe one of our agent went to her and asked for her advice on what she should do, and she gave her great advice. Our agent was trying to get in touch with a title company. The numbers didn't match, couldn't get in touch with the title company. Title company never responded to anybody. They changed the title company. The numbers on Google weren't correct. The list agent for this contract our agent said, here's their phone number, here's the wire instructions, just send the money to this person, they'll be fine. And we're like, no. She went down to Megan and said, Megan, can you help me look up this title company? Can we find out what their correct contact information is? Are they legit? Is this property legit? Is this something I should be concerned with? And Megan helped her out. So Paramount Title is a great, valuable resource. They see
and that
a
wasn't our
lot.
deal. So
It wasn't our deal,
Right.
but they're willing to help you out, and they will walk you through that because they know that your best interests and your client's best interests are our best interests, and we're always going to make sure we do the right thing.
And the listing agent who purportedly sent that may not have been the listing agent. Their email address could easily be hacked, and they could send it from someplace else and make it look like you. It's a real thing.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
that
it was really sketchy.
that's professionalism that you end up dealing with in certain files. So you just have to be very wary and very cognizant of what's going on.
About 2 years ago, we went ahead and bought cyber insurance just for fun. And about 3 months after we did that, Century Dome came up with a mandate that required cyber insurance on all their franchisees. So we're ahead of the game on that front. So cool. Thank you, Megan.
You are very welcome. You guys have a wonderful week.
Okay. Chris, you want to do this one? This is cool.
So the enlightened perspective of today is when you declare something wrong, you're stuck and you limit your options.
So give us an example with how that works.
And when you declare anything, you become stuck. So just be very careful of what your declaration about something is. So like if I have a contract or I go after a listing and I lose the listing and I declare this as, I can't believe I lost that listing. That was $800,000 listing. It was $24,000. Man, then I become stuck and I limit my potential options to move forward. And the only option I have is to feel like I lost that listing. I lost $24,000. It's gone. And now that has the potential to continue to spiral and get worse. So the declaration that you make, the label that you make of something is extremely important. And because this is exactly what happened to me. I didn't lose the listing. I didn't get the listing. And I said, thank you very much for protecting me from working with those people. There was probably going to be a huge issue with that. The seller was going to be very difficult. The property wasn't going to sell. They wouldn't be willing to do the things that it was going to take. We'd have ended up in a lawsuit and it would have been the worst experience of my career. So let me find where the next $24,000 is that's out there waiting for me. That was the declaration I made rather than I lost the listing. I can't believe this happened. Oh my goodness. And it opens up for more options. It puts you in alignment with something that's greater, something better, and a different opportunity.
Let's say you're at an open house and somebody pulls in a beater car. And you go, shit, this is going to be a crappy lead. Or they get out of their car and they're dressed like shit. Or you prejudge them for something else. Once you declare that person wrong, you're stuck in that. You've locked them into that. And they're probably the nicest people on the planet. I got a lot of experiences like that.
The reason they drive a beater car is because they put all their money into funds and they've got tons of it sitting there ready, willing, and able to pay cash for anything they want.
And some people pull up with a really nice car and they got no money and no credit and no income. There you go. Enlightened perspectives. What's this one? Ooh, it's just cool to see our name in lights, number 20 in the world, right? And that will come out again, probably middle of October now to show us where we are in this quarter. But you're in good company nationwide and worldwide. We're number 15 in the US and number 20 in the world.
Yeah.
Okay. You guys have been talking about this while I was gone, right? The boom is coming, the boom is coming, the boom is coming. And then the interest rates did drop. And what happened? Nothing. But what happened prior to the interest rates dropping? The rates dropped. So what caused that? The anticipation of rate drop created the rate drop. What's the anticipation about the next Fed meeting? Rate drop. So what's happening now? We're going to talk about this, whole bunch of slides on it.
Yeah. So what are you seeing happening? What's going on all around your business. We keep saying the boom is coming, the boom is coming, the boom is coming.
The boom is here.
It's already here. And whether you believe it or not, it's already here. It's already happening. We look back at the stats for the month of August, and in Florida, we had nearly a 10% increase in pending sales in the month of August for Florida year over year, when the nation only had a slight drop of 2% year over year. We see mortgage applications increase by, was it almost 20% from last year? For new mortgage applications, we see new home sales increasing by 2 or 3%, like brand new homes. So we're seeing a lot of things happening over the month of August. We'll get some September numbers here coming out shortly. But what are you seeing? We see that nearly 50% of all of our buyers are sellers. So the more buyers and more people you get in front of, the more opportunities and more deals, because those home sellers are tired of sitting on that sideline. They're tired of sitting there with that lower interest rate that they have and not being able to proceed forward. But what has this opened up for them in this last 2 months? They went from 6.86 to now they're talking to people and talking to agents like you, hearing that it's possible to get a 5.5% interest right now, even though rates are between 6.25 and 6.5 and fluctuating up and down. Does that make them more or less likely to make a decision? Especially when they've been pent up for so long, not wanting to make a decision because they're stuck in that same place. So sellers are starting to list their homes, and they're starting to list their homes, but what they're doing first is they're finding the next home that they want first. They're making sure something's available. They're finding a lot of you, and the ones of you who are reaching out to homeowners, whether you know them or not, talking to, knocking on doors, going to open houses, calling expired listings, calling your buyer pipeline, you're finding a lot of these opportunities. We're putting a lot more properties on the market. The month of September is typically a slow tick down month. And if you've watched the hot sheet, you're watching it go anywhere from 7 to 12 to 15 to 25 to 17 to 13.
It's a smile on my face.
That's a huge uptick in business for the month of September, when we technically missed our spring and summer selling season.
Yeah, we did.
We had a steady time where normally we see a spike. We saw a spike in listings, but we didn't see a spike in sales. Now we're seeing that spike in sales. And it's primarily due to the fact that you guys are getting out and controlling more of that narrative, having more of those conversations, giving them that opportunity. And now some of the public is starting to spit it out back to us. Jessica just had a buyer tell her, well, I want to get out and get a deal before these deals go away.
That's number 2.
Right?
And conversely to that first bullet point is buyers now are also sellers. So some people are looking to see what they want before they sell their house. I met a guy on Sunday. He lives in a $2 million house on the Alafire River. And he visited one of the new constructions on the river that's being built by my builder. And he went, this is gorgeous. And he went back to his house and said, honey, our house is old. It's nice. It's $2 million, but it's an old house and it's been updated, but it's still an old house. And when you see what the new houses look like, he went to the builder and said, hey, do you have any other lots around here? And Jack told him about Hammock Bay, and Jack gave me the number to call. I called him. I met him. He's out looking for lots, and then he's going to sell his $2 million house on the river. And he's got cash to pay for both. Why would he be so confident in the marketplace to do that? That's big dollars, right? Mm-hmm. So buyers become sellers too. So that's why you got to do your follow-up, and ask really good questions, right? It's not just the lead that you see, it's the lead that comes from it. Don't step over it.
Your listings are getting more activity. Who here, if you're online, raise your hand or say yes. If you're in the room, who here is getting more showings on their listings in the last 30 days than you've had in the previous 60 or 90 days?
Yep.
Even if they've been sitting for a while, you're getting more activity. You're seeing more of that activity come around. And is that listing in an area like Sun City? It's in an area where we shouldn't really be getting any showings right now, because it's the off-peak season, and we usually don't see any of these upticks until after the first of the year. Right? So when we're getting more activity on properties, buyers are becoming more active. We're seeing more online activity. We're seeing more saves. We're seeing more views. We're seeing more calls. We're seeing more open house traffic. And if you want more opportunities, get in front of more buyers, do open houses. 50% of all buyers are sellers. You want a quick, easy way to try to get 2 deals? Get into an open house, let a buyer come to you, find someone who needs to sell their house. You line up a buyer and a seller.
Fence sitters are getting into the game, right? They really are. Why? If they've been renting for a while, think about this. I really want to drill this into your head. They've been renting for a while. What have they missed out on? Number one is pride of ownership, right? They're watching the values go around them, going up. Their friends are getting equity. They're getting home equity lines of credit. They're buying new cars, whatever they're doing. But that's what home ownership prevails. If you watched training yesterday, you saw the graphs that showed prices have continually go up. The growth rate is slowing, but it's still growing. If it's growing at 2% of a $400,000 house, that's $8,000 a year. It's pretty good math, right? So they're sitting on the fence, but they're seeing all these things happen and they want to get into the game. And there's a process. What's the first step in the process? They have to become aware. And then you need to get them qualified, right? You have to have a really good relationship with a really good loan officer. And this bullshit of 35 days for a loan approval is bullshit. They should be qualified in 14 days. That's all it should take to get the appraisal in and be done. They should have their bank records in before they even start shopping. And that's the way to do it. I'm preparing to close on my lot and I'm giving my papers to the banker already and the property's not been platted. But he's got some strategizing to do because I'm complicated.
And just so you know, we're not making this stuff up. Yes, I actually got one buyer from an open house and we have an offer on a house and I got one listing and all in 2 weekend open houses.
Yeah, we're not making this up. It's true. This is, we're reporting to you what we're hearing from the masses and it's all for your benefit.
And then your buyer pipeline. If you have anybody who considered buying, if you have any lead source that's given you a lead in the last 2 years and that buyer is still in your pipeline, if you have anybody who's considered buying in the last 2 years or considered selling or tried to sell, all of them are absolute gold right now. Every single one of them needs to have a conversation with you. And it's not you're trying to push them to do anything. You're trying to have a conversation. Most of them do not follow any of the information in the market the way you do. They follow the news, they follow the headlines, and all of those, they're still saying, even though rates went down, Fed lowered rates, they see that. But then right after that, you see some other news pundit that comes out and says, yet the market is still sitting doing this. And this is still being like this. So there's all of this just conflated news back and forth. You have to be the person who controls that narrative in their mind. Deliver a different piece of information to them. Show them something different. Show them how they can save $30,000 to $80,000 if they decide to buy a brand new construction home. Show them how they can get a lower interest rate. Talk to them about one of the last deals, the things that we talk about with you, even if you didn't have a last deal. We're giving you the information to talk to them about so we can start conversations. And you have, most of you with your buyers, you had a 6 month or 1 year BBA with them. They're still under contract with you. They hired you for a reason. So go back to them, provide value to them, be the most valuable resource in real estate to them, especially if you forgot about them over this last summer because they really weren't that active. Get back in touch with them.
And what's good about a buyer after the August settlement? Won't know that.
It's as good as a listing.
It's as good as a listing. They signed a contract with you, right? And are you staying in touch with them as if they were your client? If you are, you score. If not, go back and reach out because they are under contract with you. And you got to make sure you're explaining that properly. All right.
Yep. So how has this impacted you? If you can, just while we talk over the next couple talking points, just type in something that how this boom or the activity that you've taken because of the boom has impacted you. What does it look like in your market? Because the only market that matters is the one that's going on inside your head. How have you controlled your market, controlled your narrative, and generated and created opportunities in this last 30 to 60 days that you otherwise may not have had because you decided to take a different action? So please feel free, chat in something that you've created in this last 30 days that you did not have before, or that you can attribute to just taking some different actions. Are you seeing the signs of a boom? Are you seeing more buyers? Are you seeing more activity? Are you seeing more showings? Are you seeing more saves? Are you seeing more views? And if you're not, you got to ask yourself, why? Is your property positioned the right way? Is it priced the right way? Are you having the right conversations? Are you talking to new people? Or are you doing the same thing that you've always done before?
What are other agents seeing? Isn't it a function, what you see is a function of what you think? So what have we been talking about for the last month and a half? The boom is coming. So what are you guys seeing? The boom is coming, right? But if the leadership's not talking about the boom is coming, then what? The market sucks. Watch the news. Everything's bad, but it's not bad. We're seeing amazing things happen. We're going to have the highest per square foot sale for a waterfront home in Apollo Beach ever in the history of Apollo Beach on a canal. Cool. We had the highest Bayfront sale 2 months ago, closed for $800 a foot, over $800 a foot. Yeah, crazy stuff. And a down market.
Contract signings, these are the stats that are out. Contract signings are up 4% for the month of August year over year, and mortgage applications are up 18% year over year. Those are national statistics. Contract signings, so what they can track as far as contracts, not closings, nationally, pending sales were down a little bit, but contract signings were up. And then year over year, mortgage applications are up for the month of August, 18%. That's nearly 20%. You know that in the Jared James event that he had 2 weeks ago, they said that with that new mortgage rate information with the Fed reducing rates and mortgage rates going down as well around that same time, they had an increase of almost 65% in applications for refinances.
Wow.
That's a huge increase in that. That's because people heard something about rates going down and picked up the phone and talked to somebody. Are you the person they talked to? Are you someone that delivered a message to them to create that conversation, to have more information that you could provide to them? You know, this market is going to open up in a huge way over this next few months. I think we're going to see this last trimester, this last quarter of the year, I think we're going to see a huge increase in the number of listings, the number of sales, especially over what we traditionally see in a fourth quarter. And I think it's going to have a major impact on the number of sales that are going to happen by the end of the year. They're anticipating about 4 million sales, a little bit less than last year. But I think that this last quarter can be a very impactful quarter on the number of sales. And regardless, even if it doesn't affect the national numbers, if you are someone who's able to jump in and create more opportunities in your business and control your market, and your market gets better, your market in your mind gets better, that's all that matters. We're trying to make a difference in your business and what your January 1st looks like.
Mm-hmm. Look at Andy Simmons. Andy's got 3 sales in my neighborhood this month, and she's carried listings and spending money like a gypsy getting these things promoted. And all of a sudden, boom, 3 are gone. Nothing was selling. Nothing. Boom, it's selling. Cool stuff. And it could change in an instant. But I was thinking about this when you were talking. Who knows what the reticular activating system is? You all should if you've worked here for a while, right? It's a piece of your brain. It's in the back of your head. And it filters out what it thinks you think is important, right? So if you're thinking about buying a new car and you're looking at, and all of a sudden you're going to see new Ram trucks because your brain is saying, oh, Ram truck is important. I'm looking for Ram trucks, and you're going to see Ram trucks everywhere. If you're looking for opportunities in real estate, your brain says, oh, that's important. They're looking for opportunities in real estate. And what do you see? Opportunities in real estate. Take it really simple. You're looking for a red dress. You go to the store and like a homing beacon, it takes you to the red dress because your mind chatters out all the other stuff that was blocking its way. And this is real psychological NLP stuff. That's called the reticular activator. It's in the brain. Google it. What you focus on gets done.
Which is why I keep asking you, what's going to keep you moving? What is it that's going to keep driving you forward towards that big ass smile goal? What are those 3 things that January 1st at the end of this year, when you can sit down and look at them and really just see the life that you've created, the way that everything has changed because you decided to focus on these 3 things that you're going to work towards, decide to take a different action, decide to be held accountable to create a different level of a business and a life for yourself by the end of this year? What are those things? Get your mind focused. Train your reticular activating system on looking for the things that are going to keep you aligned and moving towards that. Visualize it. See the outcome. Create more emotion on that. I just had this talk with my daughter the other day. She was frustrated. She was testing for a new belt in martial arts. 1 step away from a black belt. She's getting a brown senior belt. She's getting frustrated because she couldn't get a move right, and she started crying. And she keeps, I can't. This, my leg, that. I'm not lifting enough. I can't jump high enough. I can't. So we had to slow everything down for her and come back to the first steps. Let's separate it into steps. Let's visualize the outcome you want. Because right now, you're upset because all you see yourself doing is failing this test tomorrow. All you see yourself doing is losing another listing, not getting another buyer, not focused on the big ass smile goals that you have. So let's visualize the outcome that you want. What are those 3 things? Keep them front and center. What is that outcome, that belt that you want? See yourself going through the motions of that flying sidekick that you can't do right now. See yourself doing it. Feel how awesome it feels to be able to nail it that first time. Go through those steps, visualize it, see it, create it,
Feel it.
Believe it's possible. Walk through that. Now let's get down to doing the steps of it. But now let's focus on the outcome we're trying to create rather than the one that you're feeling right now. And you just kind of reverse and go back in slow motion, but get that goal in mind and visualize that goal. There's power in creating an emotion before it happens. And you tell her, look, you are literally creating the outcomes. And then I played this video for her about what they did with 2 groups of people trying to teach them the piano. One group of people, they sat down for 5 days a week for 2 hours a day to play the piano, going through single-handed chords. They had them actually playing the piano, the one group, 5 days a week, 2 hours a day. The other group, they nearly had visualizing playing those chords. They showed them videos of playing the chords. They walked through it and had them visualize playing those chords, closing their eyes, 2 hours a day, 5 days a week, visualizing playing the chords with their fingers. They measured the brain scans and they showed that the brains looked exactly the same, whether they played the chords physically or visualized in their mind playing those chords. The brain looked exactly the same brain scans, the same part of the brain lit up, the same firing and wiring of thoughts and physical actions and physical reactions were fired and wired inside the brain. It works with everything. Start visualizing the outcome that you want, creating the emotions that you attach to it, giving yourself some time to really focus on that and become the creator of your life and not the manager of your circumstances.
Cool.
And when you're going through that, if anybody hasn't seen Mike's post from the other day, I believe this is 2 days ago, this is really simple, all we're asking you to do. Same thing we ask every new agent to do when they come on. So I've set some really high goals for myself. That's it, reaching out to people. Look, I could really use your help. I really need your help. I'm not trying to get business. I've set some really high goals for myself. I need your help. You can help me hit my goals. Wouldn't that be awesome if we can partner together? And at the end of this year, I need to help at least 4 more people before the ball drops on New Year's Eve. You know people that I don't know. If you know anyone that is looking to buy, sell, or invest, please connect us. Know that I never take my referrals lightly, and they will get taken care of beyond measure. I couldn't help as many people as I do without the support of my network, and I truly appreciate you. Really simple. A simple message like this. How many people have you reached out to and had a message like this with? How many people have you reconnected with? How many people have you reminded that you're in real estate and this is what you're after? I need your help. I'm trying to help more people, and I can't do it without you.
You. Okay, so October 1st is when? Tomorrow. And in their infinite wisdom, FAR decided to release the forms tomorrow, right? And why did they do that? Think about it. Because if they release them early, you start using them early and they're not ready. So October 1st is when we go. So it's incumbent on you, your existing listings in floodplains, update your disclosures because they're going to go under contract after October 1st. Any new listings will have the forms replaced in .loop, so they'll be in your package for you. What's the big change in the disclosures? Have you ever flooded? Describe the damage you saw and talk about your insurance claims and your federal assistance and stuff you got, because a buyer deserves to know that. What's the other second big change? It's required on rentals, right? Renters have to be disclosed that this property has flooded because you put your shit in here, it's going to be destroyed if we flood again. And you should know that. So what could you do? You could buy insurance to protect against it, or you could choose to move to another location. But they have to be known. So that's 2 real big important disclosures that happen effective tomorrow.
Also, the health hazard that goes along with it. If you're renting a property that you know flooded, might you go take some precautions to do some mold tests or do some air quality tests before you move in to know if you have any other health conditions that might create an issue?
I talked to an agent yesterday. The house flooded. So what did I picture? A horrible flood. So the solution was the owner's out of town. It's a property that's rented. It's one of our past clients who bought the house from us. He's renting it on his own. We're not managing it. But of course he calls
The
agent and says, what do I do? I'm out of town. Can you help me? So the agent hooks up a handyman to go look at it. And he brings his shop vac and starts sucking up the water. Is that a solution to a flooded property? Depends on what the definition of flood is. If it's a light spill and the shower overflowed, you could probably suck it up with a vacuum. But what happens if it gets under the floor? Then the floor could warp. What happens if it gets under the baseboards? Baseboards could warp. What connects to the floor? Drywall. When drywall gets wet, what does it do? Sucks up water. So that's why ServPro or some other company comes out with their blowers that cut a hole in the walls and they blow air in there and they dehumidify it and they have scanners, and that's the right way to do it. But ServPro is going to charge $18,000 for it, but it's an insurance claim. This guy doesn't want to make an insurance claim, and the renters are in there. And what do they want? They want a clean, toxic-free house. So you got to balance these things out. So flood insurance is, and that's not a flood. Okay, flood is rising waters. This is an accident. That's hazard insurance. But
just so you know, for September numbers, the last day to get your anything that closes or gets listed by September 30th, by today, needs to be signed, closed by today, or turned in and listed by today. and we need 2 days for any of the closings. That's how long we have to update all of the information in our system so that you get credit for that closing.
In that period of time.
So make
Correct,
sure
next month.
if you have a closing, make sure you contact the title company if they're mailing it, find out how they're mailing it. If you want it here before that time, go pick it up and bring it in to make sure, because a lot of title companies aren't doing overnights. They're just putting it regular mail, which is going to take 3 to 7 days to get here.
Okay, you ready for the next one? Under what circumstance would you need flood insurance in a house that's not in a floodplain? Nope. Well, that's one, if it's flooded before. But it's not in a floodplain, chances are it didn't flood. If the lender requires it. So I own a property in Riverview that's not in the flood zone, had no chance of flooding. And I got a letter from them yesterday saying, or over the weekend, I checked it over the weekend, that said, we need flood insurance on your insurance policy. And I'm like, what the hell is this? So I sent my insurance agent a note. That's what I do. And she says, yep, Citizens is doing that. They're requiring flood insurance even on their houses that are not in a floodplain because they're trying to deter people from using them. The Citizens become the insurer of last resort, and they're sometimes the best one out there. And in my case, they were the least expensive. So now I got to add flood to it. So now I got to compare that policy to another third-party policy and see what they get. So when your customers call you, and that's why I tell you this, when your customers call you, go, oh yeah, I heard about that. Yes, Citizen in particular is saying you must have flood insurance, and he who has the gold makes the rules. So there's nothing I can do.
Yeah, stop saying because it's in a flood zone X,
You don't need it.
you won't need flood insurance.
Mhm.
It should be, you're in a flood zone X, which typically would not require flood insurance, but there are carriers that will require flood insurance if you go with their homeowner's coverage, and some lenders may as well.
Yep.
We need to find that information out.
Yep. And the last one is I'm proud of you guys. You're doing a great job. I probably sign at least one outgoing referral a day. I really do. And there's 2 things I check for. One is the referral amount, because if it's excessive, asking of us, I comment. And if it's excessive for us, I pat on the back. Right. And the other one is I look for an expiration date. Right. And because sometimes it says this referral will never expire. And that's a problem because if John gets a referral and that referral does not buy in a reasonable amount of time, John forgets about them. John would never do this, but some agents would forget about them. And then 3 years later, that consumer comes back and happens to go into an open house in a different city in a different town and hook up with the Century 21 Beggins agent. Who signed that referral? The broker. What the brokerage is responsible for paying that referral fee. So yesterday I got a referral. Now there's 3 things I have to look at when the referral comes across, because it was agent Susie, not necessarily, I can't use Susie because we have a Susie. Who do we not have? We don't have a Beth. No, I don't think we do.
Agent John, he's in the room.
Agent John signs the referral, sending it to Agent Keith. And I'm supposed to sign that. So is it a broker to broker referral or is it an agent to agent referral? It's broker to broker. The broker signs the referral and the broker receives the referral. Agents I'm not putting you down. It's just a matter of Chapter 475. You are not a broker. Even if you are a broker, you're an associate broker, still subject to the rules of the brokerage. So a referral to be effective, it has to be signed by the broker receiving it or sending it. So I'm seeing these things where agents are creating the form saying agent to agent, and that's fine and good. It'll probably work out because we're an integrity-based company. We honor it. But if somebody wants to get angry about it, you can't win. So broker to broker referrals are broker to broker, not agent to agent. And that's just the way it works.
A quick reminder about our EBBA contest. If you sign any EBBAs and you turn them in, you're getting credit for a 1 entry for every EBBA into a raffle. The raffle is going to be done, I believe, at the end of, I think it was the end of November. We're going to go through all of those, put those into a raffle, and the winner if you have more EBBAs, you get more entries in the raffle. The winner of the raffle, once we do the random draw of the raffle, is going to win a pass for 121 in Las Vegas.
Which is like a $600 value.
Yep.
But the thing is, submit it for review in .loop. That's how we're going to know you did it. Okay.
And lots of cool stuff going on with Beggins University, which is our Empower AI. So if you hear Empower AI or Beggins University, they're synonymous with each other. There's some differences between them, but basically they're exactly the same thing. And Mike Puma's built a really cool platform for you guys. They're out talking to other brokerages. They're in the Carolinas 21 event that's up there. And they've been communicating with Century 21 Canada, lots of other individual brokers. And the resounding reply to this is oh my God, how do I get access to it? And when they do that, their brokerage is going to have to pay for it, or their region is going to have to pay for it, or the agent has to pay for it. And for an agent to pay for this, you're looking at minimum 30 to $80 a month for this. You guys have access to it for free. You get the beta test of everything that we create, and you get access to it for free, where other people have to pay for it. There are people that are literally lining up to sign up for this and want a version of this and want it for their brokerage, want it for their team, want it for their region. And there is a lot of tools in here that people would kill for.
Yeah.
So
Let me just real quick story. So Jeff called me last night. We were talking. They're at a broker meeting, and Mike Mealer's having a fireside chat talking about Compass and all the other crap that's going on. And he finally says, "What can I do to support you guys more?" And one of the guys in the audience said, "Give us what Beggins has." No shit. They said, "Give us what Beggins has." And that led to a conversation with Jeff and Mike Meadler, because we've had multiple presentations with them, and we're now beta testing with 6 brokers they hand selected for us. They might be buying it to put it out. So anyway, that's going to be available to other companies for a charge. You guys are getting it all for free. So we're very fortunate to do that. And Puma's really created an amazing platform. That's Zillow's been presented. I don't think we've presented a Compass yet, but we'll do that too. EXP and all those other companies. Okay, Zillow Showcase. This is Susie's listing. 3,000 page views, 141 saves, 89 shares. And she said she's getting more activity now because it hit. So that's just super cool. And what's really important is to look at the graphs. And this is more important for your communication to the seller to show that you're doing something different for them, right? This house is getting way more views than a typical listing in that area, because it is. And then I love this one, the emails engagement. They sent 181 emails specifically because Zillow knows that John was looking in that area in that price range. So they're going to send him a single property email saying, "Hey, John, this one just hit the market. You might be interested in it." And it got opened 132 times out of 181. That's an extremely high open rate. How many of you open emails that you don't really know what they are? Very seldom. So what is that, 70%? Close? No, it's somewhere around 70% of the emails are open. That's insane. So if you're not using that, and now at the price of 225, and that's cool because I get pinged in an email every time someone buys one. So you guys are doing a good job selling those.
yeah, and just so you know, these are the like state side by side, the states that are using Showcase. So you're in a unique opportunity where they're very heavy on Florida, making sure that Showcase is something that's available. And the way that we're getting so many more views in Florida, what does that show me? It shows me that there's a lot more buyers that are looking in Florida than in New York, California, Texas, Georgia, Virginia. Look at the views by state, 71% compared to 3 to 1%. So that just shows us that this is a good marketing tool. It's making a huge difference on what the buyers are seeing and what they're doing and how they're looking at our properties.
Have you ever been on a listing presentation? The seller says, "How are you going to market my property out of state?" Have you ever done that? I have. How are you going to market my property out of state? We really don't spend any time marketing out of state. We syndicate our listings to the biggest portals in the world. But if you want to see truth, most of our buyers come from Florida. And the rest, I'm not going to target, I'm running an ad in Tennessee. Which part of Tennessee am I running an ad in? Right? Nashville? Well, what about another part, Chattanooga? You're going to miss all that. So by being on Zillow, the number 1 website on the planet, you get it. Did you see Donald Trump sued Zillow and won $24 million? I love that. As always, some of you guys work more for rewards than you do for money. So what's the target?
$140,000 to hit the base level for masters.
Average commission is $10,000, 14 transactions a year. Pretty powerful.
Yeah. I'd say we're
good. We're out of time.
Cool.
So new quarter begins. Second month of the trimester begins. Is your mindset set to accept the opportunities that come your way? Right? We are breaking the limits across the board, everything we're doing as a company. And it's being seen nationwide. It's being seen by our stats. You know, we're not as big as some of these companies we're competing with, but we're in the top in the world. So high five, happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday.